Next on the agenda is going to be Sheriff Bobby Haddocks.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. It's an honor to stand before you today and give you my last report before I leave office. I didn't see our amended budget. Is it on consent? Is it not on the consent budget?
I don't believe that.
It's going to be under the clerk's office.
It's under the clerk.
Okay.
I'll bring it up. When you come up, you're welcome to, let's go
Yeah, if you want to
ahead
bring
and
it
address
up, can we bring that up, gentlemen? If there's any questions, that way I can do that and then finish my report.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I listed it under the clerk's office.
Yeah, it should be under consent.
Okay.
That's okay, well,
It's under the clerk, so you have two of them that are already scanned in on the, yes, on the clerk's options. And then there was an extra one that was added in yesterday for the E911. There was an expense added of around $55,000. It's an additional $55,000 that has been spent in the E911 budget. But the others are there for you to look over. And they were just requesting their amendment.
and this amendment is, for those who don't know, this new amendment, after each budget year, you have to go back and amend the budget. And this is what this is for 15-16, not the budget that we're in. We're not requesting the numbers. This is something that comes before every year.
Jeff? What do we need to do to approve it? But both sections?
All three. There's
There are
mine,
three.
E911, and
That's the amendment, E911 maintenance contract?
it's self-explanatory, hopefully.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve sheriff's budget amendments along with EMS and 911.
All in favor?
Okay, I'll just, before I get into this, it's been a great pleasure to take over the E911 and because it works so hand in hand with our dispatch center. And as you recall, that's what I asked for, but I was asked to take the ambulance service and the other stuff. I kind of didn't have the aces or something. I don't know that poker game, but anyway, it's a pleasure because we took the ambulance service over and we sat down and restructured and looked at things and restructured their overtime, maintenance on the vehicles. We took them to our shop. We added on our shop for the bigger vehicles, and we do all the maintenance, or 90% of the maintenance there is what we can do because they're diesel engines. So this past year we've pretty struggled, but still we've had to put in I think one new diesel engine, which is about $15,000–$16,000 with everything, kind of motor and labor. And also we was able to, this past couple of years, since we took them over, take and change their fleet out, their response time. We've got a three-quarter truck from Osceola County Sheriff's Office who donated that to us. We bought two new vehicles, two pickup trucks for rapid response. Also this past year, or 2 years ago, we went into a lease agreement, and what we did was take the old body, the back of the body, bought a cabin chassis, and then transferred that over to the new cabin chassis. What they do is go through that old body and just every hinge, everything, repaint, redo, which is a savings about $50,000 to $60,000. We financed, or leased rather, can't finance, but we leased $110,000. I'm glad to say after 2 years, we was able to pay that off, and that's something that's in this budget amendment of $70-something, almost $80,000. Because of the restructuring, what we did, there's more money coming in, especially on our people out of Georgia. We kind of had a prayer meeting with them a little bit about looking closer at the income. So they tightened up, and you can see a significant amount of more money coming in. So there's some of the things we did with EMS to kind of get them on the track. So we're on track now. They had a surplus this past year of almost $80,000. So what we're going to do now is, because they need more ambulances, and if Sheriff-elect Cruz and I have discussed this, is to go ahead and buy outright this time, purchase outright the cab and chassis, and then transfer a box or body onto that, which would be another savings, which would only cost about $70,000 that they'd have to lease. So it's always something in progress and moving forward. It's just counting pennies, monitoring, and just managing what we have and working together, and it's been a pleasure. Any questions about EMS 911? All right. It has been an honor to work with the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County. Also, it has been a privilege to serve the citizens of Washington County for the past 38 years, with the last 12 as sheriff. When I was first elected, I made a promise to make changes to make our community safer, particularly concerning the war on drugs. Although we have made great strides, there is still a lot of work to be done against illicit drugs being sold in this county. Deputies of the Sheriff's Office face changing and complex illicit drugs on a daily basis. In the future, as the war on drugs shift and change, it is imperative that the Board of County Commissioners listen to Sheriff-elect Cruz as the future financial needs of the Sheriff's Office to continue to make Washington County a safer place for its citizens. Just as we made commitments to the safety of our citizens, we also looked at what tools were needed to make our officers safer while they were on duty. When we took office, the deputies were carrying low-capacity military surplus of firearms made in 1945. Their body armor was extremely outdated. They had very few shotguns and no long rifles. The fleet was old and with high mileage. In the first year in office, we purchased each officer new high-capacity Glock 22 handguns. By attaining a 50% matching grant, we were able to buy every officer new body armor. By renewing the federal grant, we keep our officers' body armor up to date. Next, we were able to purchase each officer Remington 12-gauge shotguns and DPMS AR-15 rifles. These would enhance our officers' ability to respond to an active shooter situation. Slowly, we were able to purchase and replace the aging fleet of vehicles. Software that had been purchased and placed on the shelf was utilized by placing a computer in each patrol deputy's vehicle, which allows him or her to complete reports from the vehicle and access information which helps in their day-to-day law enforcement duties. The officers of the Sheriff's Office have been exposed to some of the best top-notch training in America. We have sent to and brought into Washington County some of the best instructors to make sure the officers have the best training available to them. We hired a full-time position to manage the evidence room, which was in disarray when I took office, and process crime scenes. We reestablished the Explorer program in our high schools. This helps generate interest in our youth about having a career in law enforcement in Washington County. This brings people up to dispatch, from Explorers dispatch, and I have to say we're about a dozen that's come through our agency, and we probably have about 6 or 7 now that's employed with us since we reinitiated this program. In 2007, we reestablished Crime Stoppers so crime could be reported anonymously. Other programs established: Faith-Based Chemical Dependency Group, Emergency Decal Program, CASE, that's Communities Against Senior Exploitation, help educate our senior citizens to protect themselves from fraud. We partner with the Council on Aging to implement the File of Life program. Those who have medical issues can document and place them in a highly visible folder. When their first responders are called to the residence, they will have the appropriate medical information to render aid. Teams Driver Challenge to help teams with a hands-on experience that will help reduce their chances of being involved in a crash. The latest report from FACT shows that Washington County ranks 62nd in total expenditures for law enforcement and jail expenditures, with only 5 other counties spending less per capita than Washington County. We have worked hard to keep our community safe at the least expense to the taxpayer. Our motto: we don't spend what we don't need, we don't spend but we will spend what it takes to keep our community safe. In 2005, when we entered into a contract with the Florida Department of Corrections, Federal Marshal's Office, and Calhoun County Sheriff's Office to house inmates, the DOC and Calhoun County Housing has been terminated, but we still have some federal inmates waiting for trial. These contracts is paid to the Board of County Commissioners $3,319,944. In 2005, we started the medical reimbursement subsistence fee. which have generated $184,064. It's been paid directly to the Board of County Commissioners. From 2005 to date, the fees collected for serving civil papers have generated $324,741, which have been paid to the Board of County Commissioners. Since January of 2005, when I took office, the Washington County Sheriff's Office has generated approximately $3,828,749 that went to the Board of County Commissioners. From these fees, approximately $300,000 was spent on the jail to expand the capacity from 182 to 207 beds at no cost to the taxpayer. With the help of the Board of County Commissioners, a salary study was done to compare office to the surrounding counties. Presently and in the future, as the salaries are applied, it will help retain knowledgeable and well-trained people at the Sheriff's Office. Enough said about the past, now let's look now and into the future. After the election, I invited Sheriff-elect Kevin Cruz into our office to start the transition from my administration to his. The 1st of November, I hired Mr. Cruz Chief Deputy, John Braxton Jr. Both Mr. Cruz and Mr. Braxton have been working at the Sheriff's Office to help facilitate a smooth transition. While there's a long list of things to accomplish, by doing this transition, it helps to make sure that on January the 1st, 2017, the Sheriff's Office will not be bogged down and the new sheriff will be ahead of the learning curve and will enable him to concentrate on protecting the citizens of Washington County. Rest assured, as of this date, the Sheriff's Office budget is operating well into the black. To make sure that Sheriff-elect will not have any budget restraints, those who are retiring or leaving the Sheriff's Office as of January 1, 2017 were paid their annual and sick leave in the past budget year. If we had not, it would be a budgetary constraint that would take several months to overcome, not counting that he would not be able to hire their replacements for several months. This would be taxing on other employees and a safety issue for the citizens of Washington County. As of this date, we're leaving a total of $128,125 in the asset forfeiture funds. Also, $37,700 is left in other funds associated with training, police and criminal education, etc. These funds will have offset expenditures for any special needs for the Sheriff's Office. Washington County, I'm proud to say, has produced a lot of great leaders that has left and went across the state of Florida. When I was elected 12 years ago, there were 4 sheriffs in office that were from Washington County. Steve Casey is a director of the Florida Sheriff's Association. He's from Washington County also. Poor fellow's got a bad job answering to 66 sheriffs. In closing, I have spent 2/3 of my life as a servant to the citizens of Washington County. Excuse me. I've seen the good and the bad of people. But I'm glad and thankful to say I've seen a lot more good than the bad of citizens of Washington County. Excuse me. I can't think of any other place I would love to live or work. I just wished I had another 38 years to give to the citizens of Washington County. Excuse me. Thank you.
Sheriff, this board appreciates your service and citizens of Washington County.
Thank y'all. Without your help, and I'm sure we got a good board, and Sheriff-elect Cruz is on his way. We're going to make sure he hit the ground running, was able to hit the ground running January 1st. I elected to resign. I met with the governor and elected to resign as of the last day of December instead of going into January. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.